Podcast. Today's episode, got two of the boys on. You got Caleb Bennett, Sam Peterson. I'm really excited about this episode because we have like opposite ends of the spectrum here when it comes to a career.
Old guy, young guy?
Yeah, not good and bad. You thought I was going to say he was better than you.
No, I knew right where you were going with that. Geriatric?
Yeah.
Rookie.
Yeah. But it's going to be fun because we're going to get to chat about the differences in this. And you guys actually traveled together for a year, ish.
Kinda.
Yeah,
kinda.
Ish. I think it feels like that everybody kind of is in the truck with somebody, with everybody at some point in time throughout this. But
Gonna keep that rolling all the way through.
I got to hang out with you, was it like a month ago, something like that?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. And you were talking about, we were chatting about just your preparation and how I should be phasing my training and doing all these things. How old are you?
22.
Okay, 22 years old. I definitely wasn't thinking about that at 22 years old. I don't think you were probably thinking about that at 22 years old.
I don't even remember what it was like to be 22.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about your approach, and there is a distinct difference in the rodeo athlete or rodeo cowboy today than even just 5 or 6 years ago. Like, talk to us about it. Where does that determination come from? How does that dedication arise? Like, when were you at this moment where you were knowing that you needed to do more? Like, it needs to be more strategic about how you're preparing for your event.
I think it all started in high school, really. I wanted to compete at the highest level possible, and this is kind of when Champion Living first came around, so I started training with Logan, and it only helped propel my riding, and just because I was more physically fit, mentally fit, I was able to, take control of the situation a little bit more, and my bareback riding just kind of blossomed from there.
I know you got to do a couple schools with him when he was coming up.
Yeah, I did. Actually, the first time Richie and I did Miles City with Sparky, him and Weston Timmerman were both there. It was the first time I knew Weston a little bit, but it was basically the first time I think you and I met.
I believe so.
Yeah. And then out of the two, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Weston has had a lot of talent, but just like lacked that try at that school. And me and Richie left there and was like, man, that Weston, if he'd just give a little bit of heart, he'd go somewhere. And then we go right back, yeah, but that's Sam. That kid's going to make it somewhere. Frickin' blink your eye, Weston turns it on, Sam turns it on, just like we see. And now look, he's out here just spurring necks, cashing checks.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty cool. You guys traveled together, you and Weston.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Looking at him, made his first finals last year. You're making your first finals this year. 22 years old, you guys are achieving a goal that usually took guys a little bit. When did you make your first finals? How old are you?
24.
Okay. 2 years quicker than this generation did, right? Talk to me about the importance of that guy in the truck with you and the mindset of him, you guys being aligned in what you're doing. How does that feed you guys? How does that keep you accountable throughout the season? Like, how does that work?
Make sure to talk about Weston. You were only in the truck with me once. I didn't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah. No, it seemed like Chow's kind of got injured the entire time we were rodeoing together.
It happens. It was that year.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, but no, me and Weston, we just feed off each other every single ride, and nobody wants to lose, right? So if he beats me, I want to beat him at the next rodeo. And fortunate for us, we got another rodeo pretty much every single day going all summer long. So we're just able to build off each other all summer and just keep that competitive aspect in the rig. Iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another, and we just keep that mentality all the way through. And
that's awesome. What about when stuff isn't going good?
We're just both super positive. We don't really look at the bad, we just look at the positives. And, I think that's a huge aspect of the success we have. Just great guy to travel with.
Dude, that's cool. It really is important. Traveling partners are probably
huge.
The most important thing when it comes to getting in the truck.
The kids don't know it yet, but as they get older, if they find that right someone, they're going to get married. And you'll literally spend more time with the person you're traveling with than you do your own spouse or girlfriend or whatever it be.
Yeah.
So, if mindset, work ethic, goals, if they're not aligned, then you're not doing each other any good. And that road is so long and so brutal, it'll just crush you if you don't have the right person next to you.
Have you ever had to, I mean, you probably haven't had to do this because you're just getting really started, but you have had you've probably been through a few traveling partners. Has there ever been a time where you had to get out of the truck with somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, there is, actually. Which...
you don't have to name them or
Yeah,
anything, but I just gotta, how did that situation work? Because
it just, I was going with a group of guys that started with the same mindset, same goals, and decided, I don't know, after a year of going together that maybe they wanted to do a few extracurricular activities and play around a little bit more than I did. And from day one, this has always been a business for me. I was in it to obviously win, make a career out of it, make a living doing it, and try to set myself up for life after rodeo, not just go enjoy the fun times. And I mean, it puts a guy in an awkward situation because I mean these guys are our buddies, But at the end of the day, and I remember at the end of that year, I couldn't do it anymore, and I straight up told them, hey, I don't know who I'm going with, guys, but you guys are gonna find someone else to enter you, and I don't want to go with you anymore. You're good buddies, love you to death, but I'm out.
I've had multiple conversations with clients and younger clients, on their permit, just getting started, and they have this fear almost that they're going to lose a friend over it, right? And they almost will stay in that truck longer than they should because they don't want to lose a buddy. And I think it's healthy for most guys to hear, like, if you're real with them, you're not going to lose a friend, right?
If they're a real friend, no.
Yes, exactly. But at older ages, for me, it's easy to be like, well, then they're not a real friend, onward. But at 22, I'd be like, I'd feel differently about it probably. This year, you went hard last year too, so you've been rodeoing hard for a couple of years here. What's something that says that has surprised you, maybe that is taxing about the road that isn't really talked about that you kind of figured out along the way, like, damn, this is something I haven't thought about, but it's, part of this thing that I need to plan for it?
Really, it's probably the nutrition aspect, and then finding time to get some workouts in. You're so freaking busy going from one rodeo to another. You're driving all night long. You're tired. You don't want to do anything except take a nap, wake up, and get on another bucking horse. And when you're doing that for 3 weeks at a time, and you're not able to really get any movement in or anything like that, it's definitely so taxing on the body. So that's probably the one aspect that's impacted me the most.
That's a really, really good thing to learn at that age. And I know me and Caleb and I went through this transition together when you were going through this, right?
Yeah.
Kind of chat. It took us a couple of years to dial it in.
Oh,
really.
Yeah, I did.
Talk about how that went for you when you realized that I need to be maintaining these habits on the road, creating that routine on the road, and you changed everything from the camp. We made the camper look exactly like home, from the sheets to the lights to everything.
I maybe went overboard,
but that's what it needs.
It was literally my home away from home. I mean, I literally had the same bedding, the same pillows in my camper, pretty much the same mattress, just in a smaller version, obviously. And it was after 2020 when the NFR had to go to Texas. I didn't make the finals that year, and I was seeing guys like Sam and some of these younger guys start coming up, and that's when it dawned on me, once again, that business side of me, that drive, that want to try to stay in the game hit me, and I knew, and that's when I come to you and said, I need to change something, I need your help. And that's when I changed everything. I knew I had to change physically to get the mental side to keep me in the game if I wanted to keep doing what I loved. I wasn't ready to hang it up then. I wanted to keep going, but in order to keep putting the roof over my head and my wife's head, food on the table, I had to change something, and that's where I dialed in nutrition like I never had before, workouts like I never had before. And you and I talked after it was September 2021, after the first year I'd been doing this, and it was Pendleton, and I remember we chit-chatted either just after it or just before the short round, and, well, how are you feeling? And I was like, man, I feel good. I was like, I went ahead and I entered this, that, and the other, and I don't even need to, I was sitting top 3, 4 in the world, but I was like, I feel so freaking good, and I'm drawing good, I'm going to go keep winning money. And I did. I went to at least probably 4 or 5 rodeos that I did not need to go to after Pendleton. But it was one of the best years I had mentally, physically, and it showed in the arena.
Mm-hmm. We went through we learned a lot in our first years training together. And before you implemented those things, what we constantly ran into by the time we hit Pendleton was like 12 to 15 pounds of weight loss. And it was muscle loss for sure because we're not maintaining the nutrition. That's why all that came about, was like, how do we keep weight on and keep moving and feel good throughout September, because there's so much money to be won. You can make you've done that. You've come back in August from an injury, been like 40th or something, and made the NFR. LB did that 2 years ago in a month.
Yeah.
You know, like, the proof is in the pudding. If you can be healthy through those times, there's so much money to be won, because half the guys are gone. They're not going anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, you heard me say it at schools we've done together. You can't forget about the last quarter of the season, and even more so now, in my opinion. I mean, Sam knows there's rodeos that just jumped on board a year ago. Mandan adds 60,000. You know, Puyallup's got more money than they've seen in a while. The Governor's Cup pays, you know, it's like a slot machine. You go there and draw the right one. So, I mean, prime example this year, Jacek Frost. He wasn't even
on the radar.
Yeah. He wasn't even getting to catch a sniff of being here.
Yeah, like 28th or 26th before Puyallup.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Goes into Puyallup, wins Puyallup, carries on, wins Pendleton. I mean, just goes on to a winning spree, wins. I mean, who knows how much money just in that last 3-4 weeks of the season. I mean, there's literally September just alone has become the biggest month, I think, out of the whole year. There's literally probably more money to be won in September than there is going through the big Texas rodeos, January, February, March.
How does that play into how you're entering right now, or throughout the year, your strategy? And this is, again, you've gone for a couple of years, so maybe even how has it changed over the last couple of years of what you're entering?
Right.
Do you have a strategy?
Yeah, like, definitely. I mean, you can't
He went
be
to your
entering,
schools, he does.
Like, if you're trying to make the NFR right now, you can't be entering small rodeos. Like, there's 100+ rodeos that have 10,000 plus added. I mean, shoot, probably even more than that. So, if you're, like, this year, I kind of strategically made it so I could make the Canadian finals, but the Canadian rodeos are my duck-off rodeos. So I was able to go up there, go to those, 8,000 added Canadian rodeos, be able to duck off, wasn't competing against the same caliber cowboys that I was down here, be able to go up there, kind of dominate, and then come back down here to the tour rodeos and win at the tour rodeos, which you got to be in the top 10 in the tour standings to go to Sioux Falls, and like that plays into making that huge jump in September where there's so much money up for grabs.
First year in Canadian or doing Canadian Pro Rodeo?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I planned on doing it last year. I had a horse slip over on me at the Big Springs, Texas College Rodeo.
Yep.
Broke my collarbone, sat me out for about 10 weeks. So I kind of missed that window in the early spring to go up to Canada and kind of get a few of those knocked out for my Canadian count. So after that was done, I kind of just focused on going to all my tour rodeos and down here.
Do you ever notice that guys that go do the Canadian, like CPRA, I know a lot of guys go up there with like a purpose because they're getting on bigger horses, maybe sometimes stronger horses. They're trying to work on something in their riding that they can't get on all the time down here. I also noticed that guys that go up there for a season or two always end up being Straubs Jones is who I think of all the time. Straubs, we love you. But in the beginning, you scared me when you were getting on bucking horses.
Yeah.
And he went up there and rodeoed and got on those horses consistently. And he's a totally different bareback rider now. I really think going up there, I think for young guys, it's a good thing to hear, a good opportunity for young guys to go and get on quality stock that could test you, but is also going to make you a better bareback rider. Did you feel anything like that in your experience up there?
I mean, I just had a blast. Like, the rodeos are a little bit more low key. The production, it's a little more fun. Like, they're not rushing you so much, or I don't know. But it was just such a blast. Like, all the people are so nice. You get to kind of meet people that become lifelong fans. So just to kind of go to another country and just meet all those different people, and just it's just a whole different experience.
you're building your brand in a different part of the continent, which is really cool. And you did this for your entire career up there. You were probably one of the OGs that started going to every rodeo up there. Did it even count every year that you went?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every year. Yeah, every year I went.
I meant for like pro rodeo centers.
Yeah.
Like,
So anything basically that was in the PSN counts for PRCA standings.
Yep.
So everything from the time I started going up there. I mean, I literally started going up there the first year I made the NFR, 2012, and then
we're old.
I know. I shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't have.
But I mean, Sam's right. Like that place, and he got to get a pretty good full experience of it last year. Is like one thing I want to touch on with that deal is what I think really, I guess, helps catapult or excel a guy from going up there and riding better is the opportunity to get on better horses more often is there. Like you can have a horse that you'd be tickled pink to have at a rodeo down here, go up there, be 82, 84 points and not even pull a check. But they just have that many, solid, good to ride horses. You go up there and have fun all the time and get on really good practice, get a rodeo count, if nothing else, and, continue to carry on. Am I wrong? I'll bet you drew pretty good. And even when you drew weaker up there this year, it was still fun.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, it seemed like every time I opened my callbacks, I was pretty excited for whatever I had.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the people are amazing. You meet some cool people and just down to earth, like cowboy, ranchers, just country people.
There's
Love rodeo.
Some of my favorite people are up there. They are too nice, though. All Canadians are too nice. There's some Canadian guys out here. That's why I said that. No, it's cool. I love it up there. It's the environment's awesome. The people are awesome. There's great money to be won, and there's no better time of year to be in that kind of country. It's awesome. Go ahead. Were you gonna say something? Okay. I want to get into what I talked about in the beginning, kind of the different places we are in careers, right? You're just starting. We're just finishing. What does it mean to finish right? Like, finish how you want to, right? And we've talked about this a lot throughout your career because that was one of the main goals. Was you did not want to be done because you didn't get without a choice. You wanted to be the one to make that decision, and so like finishing that way. How important is that for you?
Like when I made the decision and was even talking to Richie about it. One of the things he said, he's like, he was a little bummed because he's got to find somebody else to go with and enter.
No one's going to be able to replace Chow.
And thank you, Richie, love you too, bro. But he said something that I didn't think of that really hit me, and he's like, man, this is probably one of the coolest things, though. He's like, you're getting to choose and go out on your own terms. And he said that, and I'm like, yeah, and then, like, the longer the drive went, the more that sunk in. It's like, what, and I didn't make the finals last year, which would have been the cherry on top,
on the
right?
cake, yeah.
But at the same time, I knew it was the right move to make. It's what I wanted to do. It's what I needed to do, physically and mentally. And, that was almost the cherry on top is I got to choose when I was done. No one told me I had to be done. My body didn't, wasn't so broke down that it was like you literally can't even move anymore. Like I still can bend over, touch my toes, or put my hands flat on the floor. Like I can still get up and down off the ground with my little one. And those are all things that when I started, I had goals. Like I didn't want to be the guy that pushed my career so hard that they remembered me for not being able to ride a stick horse to water at the end of my career. I wanted to go out when I was still at a competitive enough level to compete with Sam, Weston, Richie, Tim, like the guys that are still going at it and world champion material,
What's it mean for you to start a career on the right foot? How did you set yourself up for that? Because I never thought about this when I first started. I went and entered everything I could because I thought that's what you're supposed to do, and then I couldn't ride a broke sick horse, like he just said. And I feel like the judges form an opinion pretty quick about you, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of time in my career, not that I was at any level you guys were, but where I'd make a good spur ride, and they'd be like, Doug was on that. That must have been an easy horse. So they'd mark it like, a 17 or something. Does that fire you up? You hear the elk?
Oh, yeah.
We'll let that pass for a second.
Oh, shoot.
So to start a career, like how do you start a career on the right foot and get yourself to a place that you are now? How important is that for your career, and what have you done to do that?
I feel like now most guys, they don't have to go through the ranks, They talk about, you got to go through high school rodeo, and then you go to college rodeo, and once you're done with college rodeo, then you get on your permit, and then you go, kind of take those notches and then start moving up. But right now, I feel like if guys are riding at a competitive level enough, they can go straight out of high school and go right into the pros, go straight in, by their card, make the NFR, which I was kind of on the other end of the spectrum, to where I rodeoed all through high school. I went to college, but I had it on my mind when I was going to college. I set myself up by going to Clarendon. I knew that I was going to have the opportunity to get a college degree, college rodeo, and at the same time compete full-time in the pros and set myself up for an opportunity to make the NFR. That was my goal the entire time. I was going to go to college, buy my card right when I got there, and I had every thought, like I was going to the finals on my rookie card, which, that didn't happen, obviously. Maybe some outside factors might have played into that, but I think, that was my goal. And, this year, after watching Weston last year make the NFR, and I fell short, I think I ended up 20th, it lit a different kind of fire under me. Like this is BS. This is where I'm at, this is where I need to be, and I see myself as a world champion, not as, an outside guy looking in. So, I think, if guys just put themselves around the right people and give themselves the opportunity to compete at the level they want to compete at, the sky's the limit.
Man, that's really cool to hear from a 22-year-old.
I got the chills.
I did, straight up, yeah, I do
Gosh,
too.
dang.
That's awesome, dude. It really is, and I think
I've had to practice saying stuff like that for years.
For real though. Oh, it's impressive, man. It just is a testament to, I think. Well, I want to ask you something. What are you most proud of in your career? And it can be anything, whether it's an accomplishment or the legacy that you're leaving behind. What is the thing that you look back on and you're like, this was awesome?
I don't know. That's kind of putting me on the spot.
I know, that's the whole point.
I have a couple of rides that to me were, some of the coolest things. I think I still have the arena record at Cody. That's kind of that hits home pretty good, leaving my name on stuff like that's anybody. That's the main reason guys ride bucking horses,
Right.
are, in my opinion, is they're out to break records, turn someone else's record into theirs, change, whatever it be. But honestly, I never want to go buckle. That was clearly the ultimate goal. But I think honestly, and to me, I'm still the event rep, so I'm not technically done with rodeo. And I think when I am fully out of it and done, I just want to be known for the guy that come in, tried to help change, help evolve, and grow the sport, versus how many titles I won.
I was just going to say, I think what you just said and is sitting right there, because everything, his answer is because of mentors like you. That's what you're leaving behind. So that's, for me, that's the coolest thing to see, because this next generation is so far ahead of where we ever were. And dude, it's it's awesome, man. You've done so much for the sport.
Yeah,
so
and
all
that
those
is,
things you've done.
That's what would keep me happy as puppy with two Peters moving on. I promise you that. Just seeing these guys continue to do that now. Actually, we were just talking yesterday. I don't remember what I was doing, another interview or something. But this generation, Sam knows it because he does it. But Sam, Weston, these younger guys, Rocker, they don't realize what it actually used to be like with the older generation. You know, like when I first made the finals, they were rodeo cowboys. It was just grit your teeth, hold nothing back, go all out. I mean, there was no nutrition. There was no, I'm not going to say no work ethic, but work ethic in a different way.
There was no working out.
No working
purpose.
out on purpose. Yeah.
There's there's probably more physical labor back then.
Yeah.
Guys were doing more work
No,
outside,
but
right?
no one warmed up. No one did, you know. And I mean, this group of guys that are in that locker room this year, and I mean for the past probably 4 or 5 years now, I mean, every bareback rider takes his shirt off or pulls an arm out to tape. You go look around that bareback locker room versus any other locker room in the rough stock world, and these guys are physically fit to the T. And it is mind-blowing and awesome to see. But it's just going to prolong their career,
Yes.
help them out. I mean, it goes to show Sam 22, and I mean, if he would draw a horse that would take the iron he's feeding to him, he'd probably have won 3 or 4 go-rounds by now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's only going to go up for the guys like that, in my opinion, because talent will only take you so far. It's the determination, the work ethic that will carry the rest of the way.
Yeah. I was talking to Heath Ford the other day, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, and he was talking about that same thing, how guys that he grew up rodeoing with, they were big, strong guys, but they didn't have a six-pack or anything like that. They didn't have these muscles that these guys have.
They were farm tough.
Yes, right? And he said the same exact thing. Now you look at Sam, or he was talking about you. It was like you, Casey, you guys were the first generation of guys that kind of had that new look to them where it was like, dude, these guys are fit, like ready to roll. Mm-hmm. And that was 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. So the evolution has been very fast. For you, starting your career, how are you going to evolve your brand? Like, do you have plans for that yet, or how have you thought about the evolution of that beyond just the arena?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I've always kind of had it in my mind, you know, that rodeo is going to be on my platform that I was be able to grow all my business out of. And, like, so I just want to, you know, I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. I got some few things going, but, like, I don't want to have to be able to retire from rodeo and that be like my highlight, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to grow something out of it to where I don't have to go work a 9 to 5 or something like that. I want to be able to be my own boss just like I am now. So that's pretty cool. Like, I feel like that's a huge opportunity for guys right now that are rodeoing. There's so many different avenues that you can go with this, and that, like, rodeo doesn't have to be like your highlight for your life, right?
Yeah, just a chapter.
Right, just a chapter in the book.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It
The
really
opportunity is bigger than ever for your guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the money, I mean, this is your first NFR, go-rounds pay 36 and some change.
Yep.
My first NFR, first of all, I made it with like 68,000 for the year.
Is that even breaking the 40th spot today?
I come in 7th in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, Jared Keelan made it that year in the 15th hole with like 52,000.
I have not heard that name in so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you where the money's evolved. Now it takes 130,000
to get in.
to just hit 15.
To get in, yeah.
You know, that's double what I won going in midway. And then a go-around paid 18,000 when I first came. Average paid 54, I think, or 64 maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, another 30,000. It's just the sport has evolved in a way that these guys can, if they're smart business-wise, take care of themselves, get the most out of their career. You can do nothing but set yourself up for the future and start your own business and have the financial background to do it.
Oh, that's such good advice, man. That's it. What mattered? What would you tell? What's your biggest piece of advice for Sam? Where he's at right now, coming from what you've been through, what you've done in your career?
Sam's a hard one because he's got a lot of the
He
things.
already has them. Yeah.
But actually, one thing that I know would hit me every now and then when things weren't going my way or the way I thought they should go is I always felt like from the ground up, mentally, physically, everything, I outworked everybody. And I truly believe that. I truly do. And there were so many times when things were not going my way, or I wasn't drawing right, or I wasn't winning, but I was doing everything behind the scenes that you need to, and then some. And I'm just like, well, why don't I just say the hell with it? Go to the bar like everybody else then.
Right.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
So if there's anything advice-wise I'd give you is stick to your routine, to your freaking determination, and the work ethic you put into it, because you'll hit that roller coaster where you're going to wonder, well, why am I doing this? Why they're over there partying and enjoying it.
Right.
You're going to last longer, and you're going to get way more out of it, I promise.
Yeah. And, like, probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I got from my college coach, Brett Franks, is, you know, there's only 2 ways to gain confidence. It's to work harder than everybody else or win. And if you're not winning, you better be working harder than everybody else. And if you're not working harder than everybody else, you better be winning. So, like, I've kept that kind of mindset. And, like, especially this year, and I felt like I've done both of those things. And, you know, right now I'm fighting for a world championship, so I feel like if I keep that mentality, you know, only good things can happen from there.
Weston did light a fire under you last year.
Oh.
And he made it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I seen it from your first ride back this year. I was like, oh, this kid's in it to win it.
Yeah.
And as the year went on, I'm just like, I swear he's just riding better and better, and there's no way he can feel 100% right now.
Yeah. You took advantage of it, though, and you finished strong, and it. So you talked about, like, that fire being lit under you, right? And there's a lot of athletes, and it could be beyond athletes, business people, whatever, that have that same fire but are unwilling to do the hard things that it takes to actually get there. I'm going to make up a hypothetical situation, right? Say there's an athlete, let's just say bareback rider. They know that they need to be 10 pounds lighter. They've done everything nutritionally, everything physically. They have a mental coach, whatever it is. They are invested that way. But they have this one Achilles heel, and say they regularly drink alcohol, and they know that that's making the weight stay on. I've had multiple conversations with athletes that are not willing to. They don't think that will help them stopping that, right? And they don't think that's worth a world title. You talked about things you already, from last year, you changed about yourself. And when I've never really hung out with you for longer than a day or two, right, at these schools. So we got to hang out for a week. And just watching how you carried yourself, man, you were like a different person. I know you had to give up some things. I know you changed your whole lifestyle, essentially, because the goal is so big to you that nothing else really matters, right? Talk me through how that went for you, and like how you had that talk with yourself, because looking in the mirror is hard. Having that conversation with yourself where it's like, it's me, I'm messing up, you know, it's not somebody else. I've done all the other things. Like, ooh, yeah, no one likes to have that conversation. So I'm just always intrigued about somebody at your age that's able to do that, how that went for you and how you came to be with like the terms of that.
Yeah. Really, no, it all just came down to me just getting right with the Lord. You know, I always kind of had that in the back of my mind, you know, just the way the Holy Spirit speak to me, like started being obedient. Like if I started laying down things that I knew the Lord was putting on my heart to give up, and, you know, I was fighting that, like, he's only going to keep pushing you, right? So finally just kind of, you know, just being obedient and following through and just trusting that process has been one of the biggest things for me this year. You know, like when you do, you know, fall into that trap of temptation or whatever else it is, but right away jumping back right into your Bible, jumping right back into the plan the Lord has for you. Like that's been the biggest thing for me, is obedience.
Like exercising that, getting that obedient muscle to work takes practice, right?
Yes.
You were talking about you fall off, and I think it goes for anything. That can go for fitness, that can go for your faith, it can go for anything that you fall off, and it's pretty easy to just stay off of it, right?
Yeah.
Getting back on the next day is the best thing you can do, but it's also the toughest thing you can do. When you build that obedience and build that faith, how much does that translate to the arena of knowing, almost trusting that system and that process all the time, and not getting wrapped up in the little things like how the judges are marking you, or this guy drew that, you know, I have a piece of shit over here. Like, how does that translate over to your whole mindset in the arena?
It only gives you more confidence. You know, like the next day is a new opportunity. So if you're jump back on that wagon and you have that confidence, knowing, what, yesterday didn't go the way it should have, but today's a new day, a new opportunity to go out here and, compete at that level again.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about.
He's very optimistic. I like this guy.
Yes, he's young. Just wait till he's 36 like us.
I'm 37.
Oh, well, you should have just said you're 36. How do you not have any gray hair?
You're looking on the wrong side.
Oh, okay.
Touch of gray for men.
Touch of gray. He just put up one.
I did have a full beard until about a month ago, because when I was getting ready to come down here, I was like, I can't go down there like this. I look like I'm about 70.
Yeah. Buddy, that's how I look like coming off the mountains. It is bad. Real bad. I look really old. All right, let's talk about outside the arena a little bit. How would you say rodeo shaped you just as a man outside of riding bucking horses? What has it done for you as a sport?
When you're young and you decide you're going to do this, it's up to you. Or at least it was for me. I didn't grow up with family or parents that had endless amounts of money to help me get down the road. I didn't have mom or whoever, grandma doing my laundry, taking care of stuff. So, the rodeo way, the Western lifestyle, there's so much more to it than just the arena. It's the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the friends, basically a whole nother family that you build, you meet, and it doesn't end. Like I said, I met Sam when he was just a 16-year-old punk kid at that school, and to me, he's a brother now, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And you can say about me what all you want, but
I love you, man.
Well, he's probably my son. 'Cause I'm Chad.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, you're the dad of the lot.
No, it's just there's so much of that, and the manners, the belief in and having faith in like Christ and being like, there's just so many things that correlate, and go hand in hand with the rodeo world that I don't know that I've ever met a disrespectful guy that has grown up around the Western way of life, and that is a huge, huge compliment to whoever puts a cowboy hat on. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I also feel like you need to live up to. You want to wear a cowboy boot, you want to wear a cowboy hat, respect the Western way of lifestyle. Be polite. Be polite. Hold the door open for ladies. Just respect your elders. Be a good, true citizen.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably one of the biggest things that I have taken away from growing up in the sport of rodeo, taking off and doing stuff like I did. I had to grow up quick. I had to learn to cook or clean or do my own laundry or make sure my finances were under control, so I could go from A to B, and still get home.
Yep.
So, it makes you grow up.
Absolutely. I'm going to have questions for you, but I just got a couple more for him. Just had a daughter. You're a new dad. What is something that either being a husband, father, has taught you that rodeo hasn't or didn't?
Actually, the biggest thing, I think it helped actually having a rodeo background. Kind of goes back to those times when maybe you're not riding or winning, maybe not riding as good as you can, or getting the right horses, or winning the money that you're capable of doing, and that stuff comes in waves. But the biggest thing you got to learn is, like Sam's already touched on, is every day is a new day, and what you get from that is patience.
I was literally thinking that the whole time I asked you that.
The patience to be able to sit back, wait for that right opportunity, when your equipment's right, your mind's right, your physical, healthy, everything's right, and the only thing you're missing is that horse that needs to be a 20, 21, and you keep drawing these 16, 17s. So finding that patience going up and down the road and waiting for that one draw to turn everything around, helped me with having the patience of the little one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't take it back for the world. She's been a huge blessing in my life, and
Absolutely.
but with any little one, they're gonna cry, they're gonna kick, they're gonna scream, whether they're hungry or tired, or they just plain and simply want to lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing how you can just pull yourself back and be like, all right, well, I'll just deal with this because tomorrow will be another day, or 10 minutes from now you're going to be back to the person you were, the little person you were a minute ago when you were giggling at me. I tell Savannah all the time, I was like, we need to check for bipolar disorder. I swear she's bipolar.
You're probably just like me and gets hangry.
Oh, she gets hangry bad.
Sounds like me.
And then she's like Dad, and I like Dad in a way because I don't fight sleep. I just don't get a lot of it.
Yeah.
And she'll fight it or act like she doesn't need a whole lot of it, and it drives her mother crazy.
Ours does the exact same thing, man. All right, Sam, biggest piece of advice you would give a rookie that's just starting? You're fresh off it.
Yeah, you're not. So take the rookie sense that we've been giving you all week. You're not a rookie.
Yeah, you're not a rookie. So talking to rookies, what's the biggest piece of advice?
Biggest piece of advice I have for them is do not get too focused on winning. Focus on doing the fundamentals too much. Like, don't focus on winning too hard. Focus on doing the fundamentals too hard. Like, that's one of the biggest things I had to learn this year, especially so in San Antonio. I was good in the first round. Second round, had a huge opportunity on J-Bar J's Drunk Bunny, and I was gonna go out there, I was gonna tear this horse's head off, click him off my handle, and made me look stupid. Okay, and then rolled into the next round, had another great J-Bar J horse, Wild Night. I got on that horse a couple months prior in the practice, teed off on it, probably made like an 87 point bareback ride in the practice, and then made me look stupid. So right there, I had to have like a big conversation with myself. I called my mom, called my dad, called Heath Ford. Like, they all had the same thing say to me.
You didn't call Chow Daddy.
No, you
I
didn't.
didn't call Chow Daddy.
Are you
no.
upset about that? Yeah, I'd be hurt too.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, like, just you need to go. You need to get out of your mind, and you need to go. So I went from there. I went to Clarendon. I went and got on 3 practice horses, and just focused on the fundamentals. And it, like, boom, switch flipped, and then I was able to carry that on through the rest of my winter. But, like, just don't get too focused on winning. Like, winning takes care of itself when you're doing proper fundamentals and riding each horse for what it is.
That's exactly right, man. It's cool to...
He just said that in a way that I'd have said it, and I'm 12, 13, 15 years older than him, whatever. I literally just had this same talk with a guy in the locker room a night ago, that's older than you by a couple years, and I'm not going to name names, but literally had to say, dude, quit trying so hard and thinking so much and just go back to the basics.
Do the basics. That is the hardest part about this sport, is trusting the fundamentals that they will get you there. And you talked about, drawing 17, 16-point horses over and over and over and over, right? I've watched you, I've watched my brother not win a check for months simply because of what they're drawing. You have to be able to stick to that process and stick to that system and have faith that it is going to line out and work out how it's supposed to if I continue to do these things. Our natural reaction as a human is to make it complicated and to be like, I got to go do this more or that more. And it's like, no, just be dumb. Think less. Do the 3 things that it takes to get there, and you're going to win. Let's talk about some bad advice. What's the worst advice you've gotten as a rookie?
Oh, the worst advice.
Or even just coming up, because we've all heard, everyone's heard it.
Don't use anything
Don't use any
that I
child's
probably
advice.
told you, because
I don't know if I've really got any bad advice. Like, I've always kind of taken it for what it is. If it worked for me, I was going to use it. But if it didn't, just kind of let it go one ear out the other.
Yeah.
So I really, if there was bad advice, I had already forgot it.
Do you ever hear, like, being at a school or guys talking to younger guys and they tell them something and you're like, ooh, I would not do that. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe it just needed to be worded in a different way.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe just kind of pull them off the side. Here's what he was trying to say, but this is what you actually need to be doing. Like,
this guy just has all the solutions for us. He's really hard to ask questions because he just has all the answers for us.
Who are you?
Yeah. It's like Men in
Where
Black.
did
There's
you
really like a
come from?
50-year-old man inside there.
And whatever you're talking about, it better not have been one of my schools. Was I telling someone something wrong?
No, I don't think so.
Always. The glass is always half full with Sam, and that's why we love it. It's awesome.
That's
man.
why he's sitting here.
It's exactly
That's why
right.
He's fixing on being a world title contender.
You know,
I mean,
when we
optimism.
when we started this whole conversation, you and I started rodeoing so long ago, there was no one his age that was at this level that could reiterate to you how they got there. They had no idea how they got there.
Yeah, none.
You literally know every step of why you're here and the steps that you had to change to actually get here, right? Last year, for most guys, would have messed them up a little bit in their head. They probably would have done that, F it, I'm going to go drink and party, and, you know, it's working for everybody else. Yeah. You went the opposite way, doubled down on what you knew was the fundamentals, and here we are, right? It's just cool, man, it's so refreshing to hear a guy your age and you talk about it like this, because you are going to be the catalyst of the next growth of pro rodeo. Like, these kids are going to be looking up to you, and I think that's even more of a testament to you, dude, as a mentor. Like, we've done a lot of schools together. You've mentored a lot of guys, and to see him, I mean, you and Richie talked about him and Weston after that first school when you came back to the house, and that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Dude, that's not that long. That's not that long that you're here, right? It's really cool, and it's really awesome to see. So, I don't know, I'm proud of you, man, and I know these guys are. What do you got drawn tonight?
I have Secrets Out of Pete Cars. Had a couple really sweet horse. It was one that we maybe thought was going to be kind of a pen down from the TV pen. You know, we had some horses get sick, brought her up, but still, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for a possible round win. So I'm just going to, you know, go out there and do what I've been doing the past 4 rounds. And, you know, like I said, the winning takes care of itself. If I just focus on what I can do, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
If there's one guy that can win on a horse that wasn't originally penned in this pen,
that guy.
It's this guy.
I like that.
I promise you that.
Talk to me about being director and how picking the stock for all this works. So we're halfway through. You're having to shuffle some things. Like, I mean, you just talked about it. So your job is nuts, dude. And what you have to manage is insane. So I don't think majority of people know how that works.
There is a lot of the kind of the behind the scenes stuff that I got to do, take care of. A lot of it's obviously prior to getting here. Like Sam knows, he was on most of them, but I try to line up with as many calls as we need when it comes time to select the stock. Now, technically, I don't have to give these guys the opportunity to have a say, but that's not how I've ever done the job. That's not how I ever will do the job. They deserve just as much right to say what comes here as I do. They're the ones actually tying to them. And so there's, a bunch of phone calls, bunch of time sitting behind a computer, you know, putting videos together for meetings. And then when you get down here, it's you sit and hope and pray everything goes as planned. And after the first couple rounds, when it doesn't, in my opinion anyway, a guy like me that, I mean, I'm like the complete backwards of what a good bareback rider should be, because I almost think too much. And I've said it numerous times. The most simple mind, dumbest person makes the best bareback rider. But anyway, with that being said, I went to thinking, and I mean digging. I had papers scattered everywhere after round 2, laptop up, iPad up, watching the first 2 rounds, looking at what horses I can move coming into these next, 6 rounds later, or 5 rounds after tonight, later on, because that's when we start bringing back. The very first pen that was out round 1 will now be out tomorrow, and then it just starts all back over. So my main goal is to always give these guys, all 15 of them, the best opportunity they can to win first on any of the horses in there. And at the end of the day, you can only put it together so good on paper, and the horse has still got to perform, the guy's still got to do his job. I get all that. But I didn't feel like I did that those first couple rounds, or, at least the second round for sure. And Sam kind of knows it, but the second time through, I've kind of decided to take matters into my own hands, because I don't sleep well at night knowing I just took, like round 2, in my opinion, 11 guys out of an opportunity to win the round. Now you put that many horses together, you're going to have one or two that maybe fail you, but not 10 or 11 in one pen. And I do feel like 10 or 11 just weren't the horses or the horsepower that these guys needed to try to win first. And the guys that placed 1 through 4, I felt like just had the ones to walk away with it.
What's it mean to you, Sam, to have a guy like that has all this experience representing you guys, like picking everything for you, giving you the option to go through all the stock with him when like he really doesn't have to? Like, what does that mean to you as an athlete, trying to give you the best shot you can every time?
Yeah, just like you said, like it's so awesome to have a guy representing us that wants to put his best foot forward and do what's best for us as competitors. Like you said, giving us the best shot to win every single night. So, I mean, it's super important, and we're super thankful, you know, to have Caleb here, you know, doing that for us. Like he said, he doesn't have to do it for us, but he does. And so to have a guy that, you know, he wants the best for us just because, like, when he was competing, he wanted someone in there doing the best for him, right? So it's pretty special.
That was also me.
Yeah, which it was him. So,
but it hasn't changed.
Right, yeah, it hasn't changed, though, because, like, you know, he was director and competitor. So he wants to have the best opportunity to win as well. So, you know, that's what counts.
I remember last year you were here. You had to change some stuff. You were riding. You had to change a couple horses in it, and then you ended up drawing him, that same horse you drew. And he was like, see, everyone was like, you were like, I always worry if people think I'm rigging this thing. And it's like, why would I rig it and draw that one that I just brought back in? I wouldn't do that. It's funny, man.
Oh, yeah, that stuff always goes through your mind. But like I said, whether I was riding here or not, at the end of the day, I have the worst guilty conscience, and that's with anything.
Yeah.
If I take someone out of the competition or screw someone over somehow or do something, I will not sleep at night, and I already don't sleep that great as it is.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing I want or need.
No, that's exactly
But
right.
I mean, and I didn't sleep a whole lot after round 2, and for that reason.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think what I've got put on paper coming into these, you know, next 6 rounds.
What can we expect to see?
I think, well, on paper,
Yeah.
mind you, my opinion, I think the pens are going to be way more even. There's going to be a little more horsepower come round 7 than what there was in round 2, and there's going to dang sure be some more scary ones or ranker ones in that E pen than what we're in the first time through, you know, in round 3. So I look forward to really hoping like heck this finishes off great. I put together what I can hope and is probably the best set of horses in each round that we got coming in, and I'm looking forward and hoping it goes as planned, that every one of these guys, when they nod their head, they got a chance. If it takes 88 to win the round, they have that chance and opportunity to be 88.
Mm-hmm. There's so much that goes into this, man. It's wild. It's really cool. But guys, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to touch on one more thing real fast on the champion living side. So, you know, I've been fortunate enough to have a pretty injury-free career so far. We knock on wood. But I've been doing the same warm-up that Logan sent me my sophomore year in high school every single time before I get on. Mm-hmm. And still to this day, like every single time.
That's so
cool.
Cool.
I mean, if you guys trust the process, it's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. Man, I appreciate that. No, the fitness applies to everything in life. Yeah. It really does. That's where you almost learn that process and how to set systems, and that's at least how I did. When I rodeoed, I worked out, but I didn't know how to work out correctly. I got injured. I became a coach, started working out correctly, and then light bulbs were just pinging off in my head all the time about bareback riding, because I'm like, holy crap, this is actually way simpler than I thought it was. I just have to make these systems, and it's done. Right? So that's when I got to go get back on again after 7 years. It was the wildest thing, because you talk about trusting those systems. My entire career was the opposite of that, was questioning everything. So for me to actually sit there and not think and just do was extremely hard, but I did, and it was the coolest thing and most rewarding thing ever, because it's real at that point. You're like, oh my God, I can do this. I've been making this way harder than I had to. It's a wild thing, man. So that's cool to hear, and thank you for that shout out. We appreciate that. And Logan does have awesome warm-ups. You guys can all download that warm-up for free on the Champion Living Fitness app. Oh, Hui Fit app. My bad. It's all in the PDF section. But got to thank our sponsors real quick. Hui Brands. GetYourHooey.com. You can use our discount code Champion Living. It's all one word. Save you 10% on discount, or at checkout. And the Rodeo Now app. Download Rodeo Now. It's free to download. Do you use Rodeo Now app at all?
Yeah, I wish more contractors would start using it because it is awesome. Just be able to look up a brand and boom, have videos of whatever horse you're getting on.
I've been saying, go ahead.
Yes, contractors, please put them on there. Being a director that no longer travels in rodeos, that app is awesome.
Yeah. So check it out. Download it now. And stop over at the Fenoglio Boot Booth. Get you a pair of boots. They're in the upstairs Las Vegas Convention Center right next to Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, booth 21003. See you guys tomorrow.